Hello everyone, I want to quickly update the situation in the market for BTC, right? Because sometimes I can't just explain everything in just a couple of posts. If you've been following me, which I think you have, you know that after breaking these demand and resistance area, right, we held it and I said that the 95.6 was going to be the next high time frame resistance levels, and I explained why, right? It was supported by body candles, right? And so far it's been resistant for 4 days, right? 5 days counting today, right? Still there's some hesitation in the market. It's all good. When I draw, I think by the way, I have just removed it for some reason. When I drew this kind of path, right? It was because as you know, the market doesn't move in a straight line, right? So we've been following it perfectly. The thing is, if I take a look at the 4 hour, right? I mentioned today that it was building weakness, and I think it's very textbook so far. First, we have this initial impulse from 84, this whole leg, right? From Sunday to Tuesday, huge move. Then we have the first bearish divergence that translated into this. The thing is, the next move wasn't strong enough. Yes, you could argue that after this retest, the RSI starts from a lower point. That's true. But when I see these level rejected again, the bearish divergence, you could say it's being reinforced, and in fact, you could argue this high time frame resistance acting as a double top with the bearish divergence still forming. This looks similar to what we see here on the daily. Different time scale, of course, from November to the first top to a flat to extend the divergence with the bearish divergence being reinforced, right? Now in hindsight, you say, man, we had so many time to live. But if you apply the, well, RSI starts from a lower point, perhaps it's normal that it doesn't reach the same level, right? It starts from here, it starts from here. I mean, the impulse could be valid. So that's, okay, you can think that. But all I see, this is a downtrend now, similar to this one, right? So, but this is a 4 hour chart. So what we can see is just complete cool off, retest of 90k, this demand area, even from running, because you know most people are just paying attention to this area. Market makers know that the same way they slightly front run all the entries at all-time highs that were forced to chase here, right? So this could just, I mean, when I drew this path, it's because this was normal, right? Impulse, correction, and reclaim of the next resistance and support. Same here. In fact, we haven't just tested this big area twice on the 4 hour. On the daily, I think it's been, yeah, something like that. Yeah, 2 days. I mean, holding again, compression building, showing the market that these areas are strong now after this initial impulse. So the next time it taps 95.6, it could be for good, right? I guess some people would argue, just so you don't think that I'm just a bullish kind of guy, you could argue these, it's a bearish divergence here because it counts the body, but this is a 2 day thing. Yes, perhaps it just results in the drop that I'm saying, right? But again, this is over analyzing, in my opinion. We got what we wanted, which is the weekly breakout. I mean, if you see these weekly candles, do you think this looks weak? Even if we come back to 90, 91, and then bounce and end the week around these levels, all that it will look in the weekly candle would be just a bigger wick. But I see this and I see this huge. The moment I posted this engulfing candle, I said that these also reinforce the idea of a reversal. What if? Who cares if we have these wicks? Who cares if we retest this as we did here, the weekly RSIMA, just to confirm we are back? That's healthy. because if we go super fast, perhaps the next time we lose it, right? It's all good, just let it all play out, right? This is something that the 4 hour, this I really care about the 4 hour, but in this kind of trend, the 200 moving averages, that I said a lot of time that for the new leg to come up, you need to be above the 4 hour, and you need to be above that also in the daily. And I said here, the longer we hover around here, and in the 4 hour it was above, that could be a launch pad to pop without hesitation. Here we are. In fact, I also said to study October 23. Why? Because of this. And I said when we were building this, we reclaimed and we slowly accepted the trend again. We didn't fake out like here. This is boring price action for people, but this is clearly acceptance of these new levels, that bulls are getting control again. We have the pop. And now we could be around here. This was February, right? Like a breather for the market. If we go to the daily, I'm gonna check it here, right? If we go to the daily, what BTC was doing back then, February, this is what BTC was doing in the daily, just chilling, right? After getting a little bit overheated at first, 82. We are not even above 70, which is when the biggest impulse happens, right? So what's the issue here? Just let it all play. I wouldn't try to outsmart the market and time any exit here. Just between, it was 52 and 50. I mean, what is that? A 5% move chop? I mean, it was just retesting. Well, yeah, but the RSI was losing. Yeah, but it was a weekly move. I haven't checked the weekly, but I guess it was above the RSI. MA. I mean, December, yeah, February, right? Yeah, that daily chop was this weekly candle. I mean, guys, at least let it all get overheated or start losing strength. 88. Everyone crazy here. This rejection, okay, perhaps it's nothing. First weekly divergence. Wait for that. That's my advice. I mean, no financial advice, but at least don't get so caught up in the lower time frames. Look at this. This is a whole new weekly cycle. I reposted Bob Lucas' post yesterday. This was the fourth week of a weekly cycle. That in his opinions lasted around 16 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, something like that. So this is the fourth. We have this is like this candle. Right? We haven't even gone that far down to retest. 14 weeks. I mean, 150, 160. Why not? Just wait. Let it all play out. It all looks good, even if the 4 hour ends up correcting. All you have to do now, in my opinion, is study the charts, see how they work, and if all these is useful or not. Clean textbook impulse, first various divergence, because this was already overheated, but perhaps perps and leverage tried to push people getting overexcited late, but no wick and no strength for these initial impulse. It doesn't mean it's over. This is it. No, it's a 4 hour chart, man. It's just the initial impulse. Let it cool off. This is why horizontal structures are way more important. Play the weekly cycle. That's my recommendation. Or just simply adapt your. This is the time to adapt your strategy to your risk appetite and your strength to your emotional strength to hold all these moves and the potential gains that we might see. Right? If you have a strategy, you should respect it, because if you play around divergences, for example, let's say you sell this first one at 98, right? You shouldn't be worried if it keeps pushing, because if you get worried, it means you are not following a strategy. That's what you think until things get going and emotions really show up, and you realize you are emotionally controlled and not following a plan because you want more. You don't want to miss out. Right? If you see this going up, let's see if it's a new impulse, right? And even if it is, don't chase. That's my recommendation. Wait. But you wait here, you see there's a new device, and you say to yourself, see, this is it. But what if the device keeps going up, right? What if this one was here? I mean, eventually it could roll over. If you buy it here chasing and it rolls over, you would you will tell to yourself that you knew it, that it was there. But your decision wasn't. The first one was made on strategy and data. The second one was emotionally. The same here the same thing when you sell at a loss. That's why the meme of buy high, sell low, right? So if we apply this, which is very similar to the 4 hour, this is the downtrend. Perhaps it fully resets. Perhaps it only resets until here, the start of this move. What is price doing? Perhaps just chopping, getting here. What is that? Yes, but my altcoins will suffer. It doesn't. Altcoins now, they are not important. This is perhaps not even a 5% move. Altcoins now are just following BTC in a bigger scale and every push up and down, but it's not their time yet. At least charts don't show that, but they're in that inflection point, the same as BTC. Right? I'm gonna use, I don't know, Doge. I'm gonna go to the weekly. For example, Doge is still not ready, but getting close to that. This was the bottom. This was the bottom. This is when people get frustrated, right? Like here. But then you miss this. And you look back and said, man, it was here, but it wasn't looking at a different time frame or whatever, man. Someone asked me, what about Doge, right? And I said, this looks like I think it was Christian. If you're watching this video, you will remember that. And I said, this looks very similar to that. And I pointed out that these look like the bottom area. And in this case, these look like the bottom area. I think it was around 15. And now it's 18. It's out of this area. Why? Let's say I say 15 here. I mean, 20% up, something like that. Why? Yes, we all want this. But the thing is, it has to happen and you have to be ready to sell. Doesn't matter when. We will have time. Respect your strategy if you have one, of course. And you could if you buy the breakout, as I said here. Yes, imagine you buy here. This, let's say this is the same, right? The same level. Let's say you sell the first one. You let it all ride, right? If we go to the weekly, this is what I said to buy. Again, you can see I just changed the time frame, and this is where I said to buy based on the daily, and this is the breakout. I mean, it all makes sense. Just wait for that. Identify bottoms, areas, buy, let it all run, and when it gets freaking overheated, get out and rinse and repeat. Don't get chopped up in between. That's why people lose money in this market, because they are emotional and they don't know what they're doing. They just open a YouTube video and I do whatever that guy says because I want the easy way out, like in life, and you do shit. We all know that good things are difficult and take time, but at the same time we keep looking for the shortcut. That's what you have to work on. I posted today that you are going to be the key factor, right? It's only the market is going to give you all these opportunities. The thing is, are you going to be ready? Are you going to be looking and paying attention to what you need to? Endless opportunities. We hate volatility when it goes down, but if we didn't have this volatility, we wouldn't have these huge moves. Imagine you play them correctly. You are compounding. Even in a whole year, you can compound several times. That's great. The thing is, you have to learn how to play it. So everything's good. For now, BTC has tried to push, I see, and the 4 hours still not being able to break the MA. Again, chop, noise, let it all play out. We got the weekly breakout, that's all we wanted, right? So let's see how the week evolves and where it closes, which is the most important thing. Again, open for this retest. Best case scenario, if you get to this area, is just holding this top range. But again, dropping here wouldn't be bad. I would like to retest this because it's a small support for now. That would be huge. Even it could even be front run. So let it all play. It all looks good. We will keep monitoring this. Okay, so see you later, guys.